Hi, I'm Rachel Elder, and I am the owner and one of the therapists with Connected Couples Counseling. And this is our monthly blog post video vlog to go along with what we wrote for our blog this month. I got the idea a few weeks ago to write a blog. I'm sure I've written one similar to this, but what the issue is with taking insurance when it comes to couples therapy and why we, in our practice, don't. So I'm premising or kind of, I don't know the word, like letting you know, like this is my experience, my understanding, my perspective, how I do couples therapy work. And I want to hold that someone might listen to this and say like, that's wrong, that's not accurate. And I'm just going to hold like, there's possibly something that I'm missing or I don't know or I don't understand fully. But this video comes from my understanding and why we as a practice don't accept insurance or are paneled with insurance to cover couples therapy. I also say this being someone who pays a stupid amount of money for insurance each month. I want to use my insurance, and I don't blame couples for wanting to use their insurance to cover things that they believe their insurance covers. I'm 100% in support of using your insurance, and I'm also that person in the world that pays a lot of money for insurance and end up paying out of pocket for so much for mental, emotional, physical health in my life because insurance just doesn't cover what it's supposed to cover a lot of the time. So, or they make it through jumping through hoops for us to get that covered. So I'm not going to go on that rant, but just wanted to share my humanness in this. So oftentimes when we do a consultation with couples, when they're coming to us or we get an email, it is so common for them to say, do you accept insurance? And our response is no, we don't. We don't take insurance. We're not paneled with insurance. And sometimes you want to know why, and here's why. Insurance companies, when they tell you that they cover couples therapy, I'm going to premise again that maybe I'm wrong in some ways, but from my understanding, when they tell you, you get on the phone, you're like, hey, does our plan cover couples therapy? They say, yeah, absolutely. What they're saying is that in order to get reimbursement or to bill the insurance, what has to happen is I, as a therapist, will be identifying one of you in your partnership as the identified patient, which means I'm giving you a diagnosis. So in this case, on the blog, you'll see the example. Say you're coming in with your wife and we diagnose your wife with anxiety. The work that we're doing with you as the husband or the other partner present in the room is around supporting your wife's diagnosis of anxiety. The treatment plan is on your wife's diagnosis of anxiety. The work we are doing is focused on that. You might be in session learning how you can best support your wife when they are feeling anxious, having a panic attack, feeling overwhelmed. You might be in therapy with your wife to understand anxiety, what it looks like, how it manifests, the symptoms, the ways to help cope and engage with anxiety. But that one person is who we are treating and billing couples therapy for. The work we do in our practice, our identified patient with every couple we work with is the relationship. It is not the wife, the husband, the partner. It is the relationship. The treatment plan is created to support the relationship. And that is why we don't bill couples therapy. The appropriate diagnosis code we can give is problems in relationship with spouse or partner, but we're not diagnosing one of you, whether you have anxiety or not. When I've done couples therapy with my husband, I totally meet criteria for generalized anxiety. That is true. That is real. However, we didn't go to therapy because of my anxiety. I might have been anxious going into therapy, but we weren't there to treat my anxiety. We were there to treat our relationship, to build better communication skills, to get out of the conflict we were stuck in, to build more connection. So the identified patient was the relationship, not me, not my husband. This is the tricky part when people are wanting to bill insurance for couples therapy. It really limits me as a therapist and the work I can do. I can teach you a communication skill that is going to help your anxiety reduce and that you can do with your partner, but I may not be able to guide you through a values exploration exercise individually and relationally and ethically connect that back to your anxiety. I could be creative, but it might be really tricky. And there's a key part on this side of I'm a therapist. I worked really hard to get the license I have, and it is my duty and responsibility to protect that. So I need to be mindful that anything I'm signing off on, I have to back. And that's part of my boundary, is that this is not a risk I'm willing to take with insurance. To say, I will do this work in this way and bill your insurance if it's not truly ethically and legally sound in what insurance covers. It's not a risk I'm willing to take, and that's my responsibility to protect my license, not necessarily yours as a client, mine. So in our practice, we don't bill insurance. We will provide a super bill, and we will let you have that right to advocate and work with your insurance for reimbursement. But we are really boundaried of, we're not going to be on the phone with insurance. We're not going to be jumping through hoops with them to get the reimbursement. It's just not how we work, and it's not the weight and legwork we're willing to take on, because we are doing so much more that's in alignment with how we work with couples, and that is our responsibility, and that's what we are committing to in our role. So this is why we don't in our practice, but many practices don't bill couples therapy with your insurance. I think for me, it comes down to this piece of insurance is telling me how to work, and I don't want to be told how to work. I want to be able to sit with the couple in front of me and understand what is going on fully, what their hopes and goals are individually, collectively, what the purpose of the work is. And I want to be able to really personalize the treatment plan and the approach that I do with them to help create that relationship they're both desiring and needing. And my belief is that insurance gets in the way with that. Now, if you're listening to this and you need to use your insurance, I am not telling you that you shouldn't do that. You have to be responsible for the choices you make in your life. I'm not responsible for that. I just want to help you understand the difference and the type of couples therapy that you can expect if you're going to be utilizing your insurance. That work is incredibly valuable too. I'm not shaming that saying that that's bad and this is good. Like, they're both good. They both work in a different way. I just want you to know the difference. So when you sit and like, why won't this therapist take insurance? There's so much that you probably don't know. Your insurance company is saying this, but then we are the ones translating what that really means. And I think sometimes the therapist gets put in the bad guy position, even though we didn't set it up this way. This is the insurance company, and they should be making it more clearly. So I want to give you some reflection questions on the blog. If you head over to the link, there's a really great chart that kind of breaks down to help you figure out, are you in couples therapy to support your partner's diagnosis or your relationship? I think it's really great. And then these questions are there too. But when you're thinking about what type of couples therapy you are seeking, when you think about the therapy, are you more focused on your partner's well-being or on your connection together? A second one, do you feel like you're walking on eggshells to manage your partner's symptoms, or do you feel like you're coming to the work of therapy to work on your dynamic together? A third, do you both feel seen, heard, and supported in therapy, or is it mostly one of you getting that support and feeling heard and seen? It's probably then being billed for insurance. Fourth, if the diagnosis were no longer an issue, would you still need therapy for your relationship? And the last one, does the therapist help you grow as a couple, or are they primarily helping you understand your partner's condition? I hope you can start to discern like which one is the route to bill couples therapy with insurance and which one is not taking insurance. So if I break that down, if you're more focused on your partner's well-being, using insurance to bill for couples therapy. If you're more focused on your relationship connection, that's not an appropriate billing of insurance. If you feel like you're walking on eggshells to manage your partner's symptoms, that would be appropriate to bill insurance for couples therapy. If you're working on your dynamic together, not billing insurance. If you both feel seen, heard, and supported in therapy, that means you're working on the relationship. There's space for both of you. You're not billing insurance. If the focus is mostly on one of you, possibly billing insurance. If you still need a therapy because the diagnosis your partner had is no longer an issue, you wouldn't be billing insurance. If the therapist is helping you grow as a couple, not billing insurance, or if they're primarily helping you understand your partner's condition, it would be appropriate to bill insurance. Okay. Questions, thoughts, leave them in the comments. If you disagree with me, that's okay. Like, disagree with me respectfully. I'm okay with that. If I said something wrong and you have something to share with people, let them know. I'm a big believer of like, you don't know what you don't know. And there's so much I don't know in life and the world. So I'm not here to claim I'm an expert. And this has been my understanding of this up until this point. This is from working with lawyers, consulting with them. So this isn't just coming out of the blue of like my belief. This is also some like legal understanding as well. Okay, until next month.